Modify data with SQL. We have inserted 3 rows into 2 columns of a table that has 6 columns. The other columns still remain empty for the newly inserted movies. How do we handle empty table cells? An empty table cell, such as this, that should otherwise be filled is considered null in MySQL and is symbolized in SQL with the keyword null. This keyword is interpreted differently to, for example, an empty text or the actual number 0. Null means that no content has been inserted into the cell yet, and therefore what value the cell may receive later is still unknown. Null must be handled differently than zeros or empty strings. We'll learn more about this later in this chapter. Change a record and set a value. We can fix this null by using an update statement. For example, we can set the budget for one of the movies. One. Execute the statement of code example 4 in MySQL Workbench on your MySQL server. 2. Select all movies to display the results. What does the content of the table look like now? How does the update statement work? As we can see, the value budget is now set for movie number 2. Let's take a closer look at the code we used. Deleting from a table. Let's next see how to delete individual records. 1. Execute the following SQL statement, code example 5, in MySQL Workbench. 2. Select all movies to display. The SQL statement in code example 5 deletes all the data in the row for the movie with ID 2. You should now be familiar with the rest of the syntax in this statement. We can also delete a whole table at once with the delete statement by not specifying any rows, columns or records. Let's try this for movies. Three. Execute the SQL statement in code example 6 in the MySQL Workbench. The database server complains with an error message, error 1175. To figure out the cause of this error, we'll copy the error message. Right-click the error line in the output window to open the context menu and select Copy Response. Paste the error message into a text editor, for example into the SQL window, Query 1 or Notepad. That's a good strategy whenever you encounter an error message. It's also good practice to Google the error number, in this case 1175. Now you can read the whole error message. It says we need to turn off Save Update mode so that we can delete all the contents of the table. Go to Edit Preferences, SQL Editor. On Windows or on Mac, MySQL Workbench, Preferences, SQL Editor. Uncheck the Save Updates box at the very bottom. Click OK. Close the connection with File Close Connection tab. Reconnect to the database. You'll always need to reconnect to the database when making preference changes. Select the database RecommendDB with a double click. Execute the delete statement from code example 6 again. Afterwards, you should see the result as shown here. It's important to empty the table movies to be able to follow the following code in this chapter. So make sure you have followed. How does the delete statement work? Similar to the update statement, the delete statement acts on a set of records that match a filter criterion. In code example 5, we restricted the delete operation to a specific movie ID. In code example 6, we did not specify a filter criterion, so the whole table was deleted. The SQL commands insert, update, and delete are useful for inserting, changing, and deleting single records or small sets of records. However, for our movie recommendation app, we want to import millions of records from the rating CSV file at once, not a few lines at a time. We also want to map the data in the movie CSV file into a normalized structure which requires transformation. Therefore, we need to load and transform our data. We will look at this next.